talk about these rookies, man.
Yeah, so out of all the rookies, I made a list not too long ago on my Instagram ranking the rookies and where I think impact wise they will rank. And I think I'm starting to change my outlook on it. I had Cooper Beebe at 1, I had Guyton at 2, and then I had Maris Leafau at 3. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Maris Leafau, day 1, will be the most impactful rookie on the Cowboys. And that might sound crazy to say, but every single time I hear people that were at the OTAs talk about the practices, they bring up Maris Leafau. Maris Leafau. He's very smart. He knows where to be. Mike Zimmer loves him. You hear the linebacker coaches and the defensive coaching staff. Mike Zimmer came out and said that the kid is brilliant. When you watch his tape at Notre Dame, there's some serious potential there. They had him all over that defense. They had him blitzing. They had him on the edge. They had him at off-ball linebacker. They had him at safety. They had him doing so many things. And that's because I truly believe Marcus Freeman, a coach that I have a tremendous amount of respect for, really saw a lot in this player to where he thought he could fill so many roles for that team. And I think Mike Zimmer sees him and says, okay, you're going to fill this particular role for this team. And because he's going to be in that one role, and with the fact that, you know, his skill set really complements what Mike Zimmer wants to do in some of his third down and second and long packages, I think you're going to see a big impact day 1 from Maris Leafau. And he's going to be a guy that's going to be on the all-rookie team. And, you know, another point that I just want to add to this is that I love the fact that these Cowboys linebackers now are way more, I think they're going to be more aggressive than we've had in years past. Maris Leafau, DeMarvion Overshown, those are guys that want to get downhill and put a lick on the ball carrier. So I'd go Maris Leafau. I'd probably go Guyton 2 now, just because I am 100% sure that Guyton starts week 1. I'm not 100% sure BB starts week 1 because, you know, you hear Mike Solari in all of his interviews, and every time he gets a chance to talk about Brock Hoffman, he's talking about Brock Hoffman. Right. I don't like it. I don't want that to be the case. But man, like, look, I won't be upset if Brock Hoffman becomes a really good center, and now you have a really good center. Oh wait, and we have a guard that can replace Zach Martin. Nobody should be upset about that.
Right, exactly. Like, I think that the thing too is that when you look at what Cooper Beebe can do, is that they might be thinking that, like, hey, Brock Hoffman's going to be our center of the future. We'll have Tyler Smith at left guard, and then we already know where Tyler Guyton's going to go. Maybe even right tackle, depending on what happens with Terrence. Like, you have a lot of combinations that you can do, which is great. But I'm in agreement with you. I think that Leafau is going to be your most impactful player in terms of this draft class because of the time he's going to get out there. On top of that, the position of need as well. So he's going to get that focal point. I think it's like, look, you get it. Like, offensive linemen come out and they're impactful A1 day 1 as long as that they don't like just wet the bed. But looking at the rest of the draft class, you know, you got other dudes that are just for depth, right? For right now, Marshawn Nealand, who I really am high on, and I think that he can develop into something great for you. He's going to be your guy behind DeMarcus Lawrence and company in that edge room. And he's going to take some time. Unless, like, he just shows up and shows out, and then we're having a different conversation. Kalen Carson, he's going to be a guy that I like him too. I think that he's just a wait-and-see guy, and that could be one of the reasons why the Cowboys haven't brought back Stephon Gilmore.
Stephon Gilmore, yeah.
And then you have Brian Flournoy from Southern Missouri State.
Patrick No-C Walker is saying so many damn good things about that guy, man.
I'm intrigued.
I'm very excited.
I'm really intrigued what he can do, and I think that he can definitely push the envelope for wide receiver 3 if Jalen Tolbert falls off a little bit. And then we talk about Nathan Thomas and Justin Rogers. Those are just whatever guys. Like, not to be disrespectful to those dudes. I think they can.
Yeah, for sure.
They can maybe contribute, but again, to me, like, my philosophy has always been once you get past day 1 and 2, day 3 is just a crapshoot of what you can get for depth purposes, and hopefully you get some starters. And the Cowboys have hit well on late round corners, so I'm hoping that continues with this go around. So I'm really excited about this particular draft class, and I think, to be honest with you, they did a really good job with the trade down. you think about it this way, you got what is it? Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe as together, as opposed to just getting like a Graham Barton or another player, which is fine. And I think, like you said, I think Cooper Beebe is at worst. Maybe he's not your center of the future, but he's probably your guard of the future with Zach Martin, right? Because we talk about TJ Bass and like, is he going to end up being something? Which you still have control over him with restricted free agency, but this thing can go many ways, and I think the Cowboys are just covering their bases with this draft, which I like.
Yeah, and you look, here's the thing. I do give the front office a lot of slack for the way they handle certain things, but they are very mature when it comes to the draft. Trading back from 24 to 29, hey, look, there's going to be some guys that we want on this football team that are going to get taken off the board, but ultimately we feel like we can go and address multiple positions with this 24th overall pick, right? Because the 24th overall pick became the 29th and the 73rd overall pick. You addressed your left tackle position and your center position. And look, here's my thing with Guyton. Day one, I think he'll be a good pass blocker. I think there's going to be some struggles when it comes to, more powerful defensive ends. By the way, I actually met Myles Garrett down. I went to a Mavericks game and I said, like, hey, we got a rookie starting at left tackle. Don't go too hard on us. He's like, oh, trust me, I know. So I it's not necessarily something I liked hearing, but I think Tyler Guyton, his feet are so damn good. He'll be able to stay in front of guys. It's going to be a guy like Myles Garrett gives everybody problems, but a Danielle Hunter type, a more powerful type of defensive end is going to give him troubles day one. I think ultimately that'll be worked out, but I think day one he's going to be a good pass protector.
Oh, for sure.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like when you look at Guyton's a young guy. He's 21 and he's going to work into it. And typically tackles don't really like. There are instances, for example, where guys come in and they're solid. Like you got Tyler Smith. Like Tyler Smith wasn't an all-pro guy at left tackle, but he was good. We came to find out, like I said, when we drafted him, where I didn't mind us taking him. However, I felt like he was more of a guard at the NFL level, which we're seeing. And I think that if Tyler Guyton, ends up becoming the guy at left tackle, that's great. If he's good, awesome. You just solved the problem and you let Tyler. And that's the other thing, is just having the reliability of a guy playing left tackle and us not having to be like, oh my God, for 5 games, we got to play the back. Now, again, anything can happen. But I think that's the other thing we're banking on, is we got a guy that's going to stay upright alongside Tyler Smith. Those two are going to, big dudes. Those two are going to be great to run behind. And then I think the other thing is what happens at right tackle. Like if Terrence Steele continues to struggle, which we hope he bounces back from the ACL injury, but if he does continue to struggle, do you play Tyler Guyton at right tackle, which is his more natural position, which I wouldn't be shocked at. I think, but then the question is, oh, what do you do? Well, then, like, again, the Cowboys like Tyler Smith's flexibility, right? And I think that what I would probably see is that if there's like space, it's the worst case scenario you can ever imagine, and everyone like is bad with exception to the rookies. All right, cool. So then you can play Tyler Smith at left tackle, move Tyler Guyton to right tackle. You have TJ Bass or Cooper Beebe as your right guard or left guard, whatever you want to do, and then centers Brock Hoffman. Like to me, that isn't a bad offensive line. I think we've gotten spoiled because of the amount of all-pros that we've gotten over the years past with Martin, Frederick, and Tyron, to where it's like we're expecting this team to have like the best offensive line in football, which you don't need the best offensive line in football to win. But they don't. I think they just need to be able to run the football effectively, which, to be honest with you, those picks very much so. Not only are they keep your like part of it's like, yeah, they're investing in the quarterback staying upright, but another thing is they want to run the football more effectively. And I think that, to me, like, you don't need a lot in that running back room to be effective, but I'm really curious to see how they go about the running back room at this point, because to me, I guess it's a bit weak. I don't know if that would be the right word for it. I think that it's not the best, but
Yeah, I
so
mean, no doubt about it. I mean, like when you look at this draft, they definitely did invest in the both sides of the line of scrimmage. They
mhm.
want to be a more physical football team. They still got to go get a one tech to just as an insurance policy for Mozzie Smith, but that's besides the point. I look at what this team did in the draft and I say, hey, look, I see a vision, right? You could be looking at the next few years here where the Cowboys have a boatload of cap space, like I talked about, the 65 million next year that'll probably dwindle down a little more. Actually might go up a little bit before, all the contracts go through. And then you got 181 in 2026, which will probably go down because of CD and Dax contracts, but you'll still have plenty of money to spend. And then the next year, you're going to have a boatload of money. So like, I just look at this team, like they're going to, because they're taking a little bit of a haircut this year with, not being able to go sign guys because they don't want to restructure these contracts and, push money off in the future. You could be looking at a team that has a boatload of cap space and some really young difference makers on this team.